What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Me, my old man in a movie, and today we are going to be reviewing the film Companion.
Yes, we are.
So make sure you like the video and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and comment down below what you thought of Companion. And before we get right into it, I will read a brief synopsis of the film. I'll get right into it.
Are you going to do the disclaimer first?
Yeah, so disclaimer. If you've not seen everything that we're going to talk about, there's not going to be any spoilers that the trailers didn't already give away. So if you haven't seen the trailers, we recommend you click off this video now and go in completely blind.
See the movie blind.
Just don't
Assuming you like thrillers, I guess.
Thrillers, yeah.
Suspense, a little bit of gore.
Yeah.
If you're good with all that, language, there's some sexual references.
But
as I'm listing down all the things, that people are like, nope, nope. If you're good with all that,
yeah,
go see the film completely blind.
Don't see any trailers or anything. But if you have seen trailers, then you know what we're going to be covering.
You know what the story's about.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Here's a brief synopsis of the film before we get started. A weekend getaway turns bloody and violent when a subservient android that is built for human companionship goes haywire.
Yeah. All right.
So
there we go. What do we got? We got our three blockbuster
trio. 3 things we liked about the film. Trilogy of change. 3 things we would change about the film. Then we'll give it a rating, and then we'll basically tell you if you should see it in theaters, wait for streaming, or skip it altogether.
All right, so here we go. First thing.
Here we go. Blockbuster
trio. Yeah. Okay, who's kicking this off?
All right, you want to kick it off?
All right, I'll kick it off. Blockbuster trio. I'm going to say, number one, I like the story idea. I think straight out of the gate, this was intriguing. First teaser trailer that they put out didn't give enough information, and I wasn't so sure. I was like, I'm not sure if I want to, what is this? This is weird. This is some kind of sadistic, romance thing. But then when you saw the trailer, which we did as a Trailer Wars episode, it was our first Trailer Wars episode, you saw that there was like, oh, this is interesting. Like you've got AI that doesn't know it's AI.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about our interactions with ChatGPT and stuff and videos I've seen. It knows it's AI, right? It's like, oh yeah, no, this is what I am, and this is how I process things. But for this robot not to know it was a robot was an interesting,
it was a unique take,
dynamic, and it created some interesting moments early in the film, because they do divulge that fairly early, but there's some suspense in that. So story idea I thought was good.
All right, so my number one is I loved how they connected everything. Like they tied up all the loose ends. There was really no questions that you really had at the end of the film. Any questions that you had during the film were answered. There were scenes that they showed that you're kind of like, what is going on here at the beginning of the film? And then as they go along, they explain it, and it all makes sense. And it flowed very well. The story flowed very well.
Yeah, I thought the writer had some really great intentionality with everything. Good call. Twists was number 2 for me. This thing went, and you thought one thing was happening and something else happened, and then they twist it again, and then you're going another direction. I just thought it kept you engaged and guessing as to kind of where the storyline was going and how things were going to play out. So it kept me through the whole hour and 37 minutes, hour and 40 minutes, whatever it was.
Yeah. All right. Number 2, shock value. Just
I'm like going back in scenes when you say that.
There are so many scenes that you're like, what? Like, what is going on? And just the shock value of a lot of the things that happen, and they just kind of come out of nowhere sometimes. So it's very unique.
So I would say number 3 for me, kind of alongside that, is the comedy elements. I like the comedic pieces of this, and some of those were tied to the shock thing. So you're just like, what in the world just happened, but then they would add funny on top of that, so it was layered with shock and humor.
It was layered well,
which created an interesting combination. And
it was like a dark comedy.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it was.
It was like a swirl ice cream.
Yeah,
like humor and and shock kind of swirled.
It was good.
I don't know. It was
a
an
good part of
analogy.
it. Yeah, there's something. All right, number 3 for me is that it was very intense and that it kept you on the edge of your seat. I thought it did that very, very well. It kept the suspense going. You were kind of always wondering what's going to happen next. What's the next thing they're going to try to do? And there were a lot of things at the end that's just like really intense, and you feel all the tension in the story.
For sure. All right. So there it is. I'm just thinking how I shock you sometimes with the statements I make on our channel.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch your reaction. It makes them a little bit uncomfortable at times.
That's very true.
All right, so there we go. That's the Blockbuster Trio.
Okay.
Trilogy of Change. All right, here we go. Me again? Kicking it off, or you want to swap out?
Yeah, we can swap out.
All right, tagging out. Here we go.
All right, I wanted there to be more action in this movie. I thought there were there was a lot, but I think they could have done even more. And maybe that means making the film longer, which I wouldn't have minded because I like the film.
It did fly.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it really did. And I think it could have been longer, and they could have added more action to it and more pieces and stuff like that to it. So I think that maybe a little bit more.
Yeah. I have intelligence level. So this is in the trailer where she sees herself at 40%, and she's like, nice, Josh. And she boosts her intelligence up. There were a lot of things with her program settings that get manipulated in this film. And so you can see some of the direct results of those. But this one in particular, I just noticed like she boosts her intelligence, and you're expecting her to like be super smart robot. And I just didn't really notice much of a difference after that. And it was such a prominent part of the trailer and the film. And you're like, oh, here we go. And she just didn't, I mean, she did things, but like, it didn't like seem, oh, she's really smart.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see
so I don't know. As I was thinking through it, I was like, they just should have like done some more with that, I guess, to really heighten her intelligence through the film. Yeah, there you go.
Number 2 for me is there were some slow parts to this film that, I mean, you could have put the action in the slower parts and then had the same time, about an hour and 40 minutes, and had more action in it. But there were just some parts that kind of dragged on a little bit too long, I thought, but overall.
There was some development that needed to happen.
Yeah, I mean, for
I
sure.
agree. Like, I think the way they did it, is like,
They could have used that time for something else.
Yeah.
It might have been better.
Or sped it up. Yeah.
But it was tough for me to find 3 things that I didn't like about this film.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you were pretty sold on this one.
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to say, and this just goes along with some of what we were talking about earlier in the film, going in blind. I would have liked less revealed in the trailer, because they did they spent so much time on the front end of this film, her not realizing what she was, but yet you already knew what she was because of the trailer. And I kept turning to you, I was like, it would be so great right now if we didn't know she was a robot.
Yeah, it would be pretty crazy.
Because they seem to, in the story, hold it out like you don't know. And so, it's like watching a movie that you already know the outcome of back, and you're like, oh, I see all the parts where it would be funny, or where it would kind of come together. But it would have kind of been nice to be caught up in that too the first time. Yeah. So, but I don't know how you do that without giving not enough away to where you got to draw people to the film, right?
Yeah, I know.
And like I said, the teaser trailer didn't do that for me. So, case in point, they needed to give me something for me to even feel like I needed to go see this movie. So I don't know how you get around it, but it is something that
I actually had that
fun.
As number 3 as well. I said, wish it didn't give so much away. And it's not about the movie necessarily. It's just the trailers, I think, gave a bit too much away.
Yeah. Even beyond her being a robot, I think there were some. Oh, they left a lot. There was still
plenty of twists.
There's still plenty.
Plenty to watch. But,
Yeah. Don't think that you've seen it all by any means. Okay, the last thing is for me is just, and I've said this on other films before. This is probably the dad of me coming out, but like the language and the sexual references. Like it was. I mean, I get it. She's a robot made for companionship, right? But they went hard on that a couple times. Okay, so what do you give it?
So I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
8.5. All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 7.5.
Really?
Right? Yeah. Like, I mean, 7's kind of my standard, but I'm gonna deviate up a little bit. I did like it. Like I said, I think I set the bar a bit too high for this one. I told you when we came out, I was really excited about this, and I was like, it didn't quite live up to the expectation, but that's only because I expected so much out of it. I think had I gone in with lower expectations, it would have been fine. But 7.5, nonetheless.
8.5.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right, so
8.5.
recommend where?
Oh, this one's tough. I think you don't have to see it in theater. I think you should support it in theaters because I think it's a really good movie and that you should go see. But I think it's not necessary to see it in theaters. You could wait for streaming. I wouldn't skip it, but I would say wait for streaming, maybe.
Yeah, I would say if you can look past all the things that we've talked about, then I would say just wait for it for streaming. But I would just caution with this one because it is strong in parts. That it may be one you just want to pass on altogether.
Yeah.
As much as I,
So if your tolerance level is high, like you can,
then you can stream it. If not, pass. Would be what I'd say.
Maybe.
Okay, so this week you're getting back to the Blockbuster, the videos, the box office
videos. 'Cause it's just finally something to talk about.
So this weekend he'll be hitting that. We've got we've already got it lined up for
Trailer Wars on
Tuesday, and then there's another movie moments going to be dropped this week. So got a busy week.
And we got Dogman review.
Dogman review's coming up. Yeah, we're going to go see that tomorrow. So lots coming up on the channel this week. Stay tuned.
Make sure you subscribe so that you know when that stuff drops. And we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.